Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Thank you so much for joining me here. Happy New Year's Eve to you, of course. Probably already New Year's somewhere else if you're watching this, depending on your country and how soon you get to this video. But regardless of that fact, I hope you're having a fantastic day. Stay safe and all that. And when it comes to Litecoin, what we're going to do is we're going to look at a small handful of things. There's some really positive stuff going on here, though. I want to kind of highlight some positive technical analysis and, of course, just help you understand best practice and big picture. We're going to redraw out some Fibonacci retracement levels and some trend lines, kind of see where we're going from there. So if you are new to the channel, just keep in mind, I'm not a financial advisor. I love teaching people to trade, though, so if you want to become a better trader, CryptoCache.tech is a site, link down below. You can effectively learn how to become better, just because I have about 17, 18 years of experience. We have an amazing Discord community as well. Everyone's doing pretty darn good here. Look at this Solana Long here from Mechanical Investor. This guy's kicking some butt. So keep up the good work, you all. I appreciate just how awesome you are. They're also using the best exchange possible, which to me is Bitget. We actually have a $10,000 prize pool monthly available to all my members who actually use the link in the description to register. If you've already registered and been using them, send over me your user ID and I can go ahead and add you to the list to make sure you're eligible for that. Just kind of a nice little fun monthly thing that we do. And of course, if you're in the States, you will want a VPN. You get 3 extra months free with ExpressVPN. I'm recently partnered with them. I've actually been using them for a very long time, and it's really cool to be able to have them on our side. Because again, VPNs and cryptocurrency kind of go hand in hand, right? We want to make sure to secure our assets. So that is essentially where we're at. All right, so with Litecoin, what we want to look at, of course, with this new Fibonacci levels here is just to kind of understand and identify that we've broken above this descending trend. Okay, so this descending trend here essentially telling us that the price action continue to go lower. In most cases, always concurrent with the 20-day set moving average. You can see that there. We've broken above. So that is the first bullish sign. That's a very, very positive sign in the overall sense of things. Another good sign is that we have this previous resistance / support level at $69 is a close approximate, kind of rounding down a little bit there. The price action is at 70 right now. We can close above 70. We'll be in pretty darn good shape. And we can see this 0.382 Fibonacci retracement level is that $70 level, basically $70.25 is that resistance that we want to be mindful of. A closure above that would be awesome. I think it's pretty much one of those areas that's very important to close above. And again, if it doesn't close above today, that's okay. It doesn't mean it's going to come crashing down. It just implies that there's still some selling pressure right there. We can see that too. The 50-day SMA is working concurrently with that level. So again, just some things to kind of make sure you understand that even though we aren't in dire straits and this isn't like phenomenally bullish, these are still very positive signs. Okay, so I'd say mostly upside potential from Litecoin. Okay, now don't put all your eggs in one basket, of course, just because I said that, but generally speaking, you want to be mindful of the fact that we have some positive signs here, breaking that descending trend and being above the 20. Testing the 50-day SMA is a very positive sign. We're also tentatively above the 50 on the RSI. And this is important to recognize too, because when you're above 50 on RSI, it can have some very positive effects. Keep in mind, we haven't closed yet today, so it's still a little premature, but Litecoin does look like it wants to continue to move further upwards and break out. Which is great because we already have a trade open with our community for Litecoin, and we just got to hold strong. We'll hit our targets there, which, if I recall correctly, was a little bit higher above the 75 to 79 range. Okay, so again, I think we're looking pretty darn good there in that sense. The last thing to recognize too is we just had a MACD convergence here as well. And then furthermore, we have this nice little cup and handle. It's not the prettiest cup and handle, but it is one nonetheless. Whereas this previous resistance level here works as a support level here. And I'll show you on smaller time frames what that means, but generally speaking, that's a very positive sign. So we have a lot of good stuff on the daily. Okay. Now the 4 hour is equally as good here, minus the fact that we haven't broken above the 200-day SMA yet, but that's neither here nor there. That's not super important. The biggest deal is, of course, that we have that retest of 50 on the RSI and above 50 on the SMA on the daily. Okay, so again, those are things that I tend to focus more so on, because again, the larger the time frames, the more impactful those indicators can be. But with a 4 hour here, this is basically telling us that we're above that previous resistance level. And also keep this in mind too, take a look at this. Strong resistance level right here at this Fibonacci retracement line at about $66.88. Coincidentally, the price breaks above, comes back down to retest, and gives us our little handle. Okay, so again, nice cup and handle type of pattern here forming. I think likelihood of a breakout here is pretty high, and the reason why it would be a breakout is because a lot of shorts are hedging their longs right here at this point, where they flip from short to long based on the stop loss getting hit. Okay, so right here at about $71, we can see somewhat of a resistance level based on previous timeframes, right? So most recently we saw that retest there and it had difficulty passing that level, but it's coming back up to essentially push through again. Just keep in mind we are slightly overextended. If we take a look at the RSI, we can see that we are pushing through that resistance level or retesting that level. So it would make sense for the price to go sideways for at least a 24-hour period and then leg up again. That would probably be the best solution here to allow for that to leg up correctly. But again, it has that momentum and it does look like it wants to break through. If we take a look at TD sequential, we can also see we're at a 9, we're overextended as well. Commonly, when you see 9s on TD sequential, they will retrace. Look at that. 9 here comes down, 9 here goes up. All right, so it doesn't imply that we're just going to see a down from here, right? It just implies that there's more likelihood of either downside and or retracement, but more important, consolidation at this previous resistance level and then upwards, okay? So I foresee us consolidating for a little bit longer and then continuing to progress higher. But me, of course, being a safe trader, if you're part of my community, you know this already. What I usually like to do is take an entry at the current position and then, of course, have a secondary target somewhere in the range here, just above that Fibonacci retracement level and or the most recent low, okay? Because again, you see these higher lows here. This point is where we want to try to have our second entry. Okay, somewhere in the range of about $68 would be appropriate. So 70 and 68 would be good entry targets, in my opinion. Okay, again, because the likelihood of it pulling back lower than this level here is much lower than it would be to come down and bounce and go higher. Okay, so again, those are just some positive things there, and these are all spurred off of that daily looking very, very strong and being at the infant stages of a continuation of the upside. Please understand as well, Bitcoin has a bad day come Tuesday morning when the market opens. That is a different story altogether, right? So again, you always have to kind of factor that in, which is why you want to have tight profit targets and not get too overly aggressive in this market, because candle wicks like this do happen, but they don't happen all the time, okay? And I wouldn't expect that to continue to occur, at least significantly, until we have bullish breakout from Bitcoin, and we need to be well over 20,000 before we see that, okay? So anyways, we're a little ways off from that, but if we take a look at the hourly, we can see we have all green lights here to leave our long position open, looking pretty darn good here. We've got conversion line above the baseline, obviously lagging span's free and clear, and look at that, the cloud is averaging itself out right there at that support at 69.5. Okay, so again, I think 69.5 is a pretty good area there where the price may continue to consolidate and then bounce if it were to pull back. Okay, just makes sense. So that's kind of where we're at there on the cloud, looking good. See if we're overextended on the TD sequential, which we kind of are. We did hit a 9 here, and then of course previously we hit an 8. So 8 sideways, 9 sideways, makes sense for the next leg up. Okay, but once again, there is potential for a pullback. There's no guarantees here, of course, because we are retesting that level on the RSI and the SMA and the daily. If we don't close or break above that here soon, we could see a little bit of downside. So don't be surprised when we see a pullback before the next leg up. And obviously there is potential for us to make lower lows and lower highs, but we'll have to bridge that gap when we get there. Right now, it doesn't make a ton of sense for that to happen. Once again, statistical probabilities is all you're looking at here. That's essentially what technical analysis is just kind of determining what the odds are of a certain direction. And right now, the daily is telling us we're pretty darn strong. The 4 hours maxed out a little bit on its overextension, needs time to calm down. And the hourly is just kind of confirming that we might see a pullback because we've had 2 9s on TD sequential. And the likelihood of further retracement would make sense. But also keep in mind, there's a strong likelihood of a short squeeze right at this area here because of the fact that there's a lot of resistance previously, and a lot of those shorts are getting squeezed out. Okay, so we have one last squeeze here that could very well occur right at 71. Okay, so just be mindful of that. So that is essentially where we're at here. I would say mostly positive for Litecoin. I think potential for a further upside makes a lot of sense. And I do foresee us kind of getting back up in the 75 to 85 range in the relative near future. I'd say within the next week, if not sooner, we should see something like that. So I'm comfortable taking and leaving my position open and possibly opening a new position depending on what the day here today closes with. But once again, we're almost at confirmation, but we just have a little bit of overextension that we need to be mindful of and hold on until we see it actually break up or down soon, okay? So again, one way or the other, we're gonna see some progression. It's just a matter of if it pulls back first or goes sideways. That's my personal opinion. All right, well, hopefully you learned something here today. Thanks again for joining me. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Happy New Year once more to you and your family. We'll see you on the next one. Take care. Thanks again.